Hello, everyone. This is Beto Paredes. You are here for the AWS Advanced Wellness Solutions kickoff. Very exciting stuff. Welcome to the call. My name is Beto Paredes, and I am the CEO of Beto Paredes Family Companies. Most of you here know me. Some of you have actually talked to me. Very good to have you guys here. I've got a really good attendance so far. In fact, looks like almost everyone that signed up to be here is here. So that's pretty exciting. We've been working on this for a little bit. For those of you that actually do have a little bit more direct involvement with me, you've known about it. We've got the training in the back office. Many of you have potentially already trained on advanced wellness solutions in the back office. And today we are talking about the actual opportunity and the available media that you have to be able to actually take action as a sales rep and start offering the advanced wellness solutions, medical device, and programs. And so we're not here to train you on clinical or on the device information outside of what's in the back office. So I do want to point a couple of things out. On this landing page I'm looking at right here, there's some things that are very important to a physician that I'm going to point out first, but on here as well are the videos that the physician sees in the training in the back office. Besides the rest of the actual training that's there are these three videos. So if you are new to the opportunity, potentially one of the reps that signed up this week, or you just haven't taken the time to actually train on the Advanced Wellness Solutions back office, I highly suggest that you do that. So we're going to be speaking about that and where that's at and where things are located here on this call. You'll also notice that in GoToWebinar, I've got certain files there for you. I'm going to be going over the files that we have, things that you can actually download to your computer, add to emails, and of course, be able to print off yourself and study. You can always go into VistaPrint, which is where we have all of our print opportunities for you. I want to show that to you as well. And you can access a lot of this stuff and have them send it to you for very inexpensive. So what are we talking about here today? Well, the population health management of a physician's practice is a primary concern for the doctor. And to be able to do a very good job at working with their patients, they have to have very good analytical data. Now, doctors get this data in many different ways. Maybe they have a Doppler that they have in their office, and they may send out for some tests. So they're constantly getting tests done so that they can have the analysis that they need to be able to understand the wellness path and the wellness programs that they have for their patients. Well, we have something that brings a tremendous amount of value to the physician at the bedside, at the actual practice. Now, this is significant in many different ways. To learn just why it's so significant, again, please complete the training in the back office. If you're excited about what you're learning about here today, do take the time to go back through it if you've already trained, because the information is very solid, teaches you a lot. But I want to point a few things out, okay? The ANS device that we have, that the Advanced Wellness Solutions ANS device does a number of very important things for a physician in giving them an analysis or giving them data. But for you to break it down simple, right here we have this list of actual disease states that the early detection of said disease states are actually garnered through this test. So if you look at this and you're starting to first kind of memorize the things that this is going to do for a doctor's practice, this right here is what's most important to a physician, because this allows him to practice better medicine, okay? Early detection allows doctors to more effectively identify symptoms and disease complications in support of preventative treatment plans and managing risk. For all of the ones that you see here, there's even more. Heart attack, stroke, heart rate variability issues, abnormal LDL cholesterol levels, insulin resistance, nerve damage. And this is a big one for nerve damage in general, which is why neurologists are very highly interested in what we're doing, because our system actually scores the autonomic nervous system, and it does that through the microvascular as well as the macrovascular blood systems. And so this device gives them a tremendous amount of good information. Some things that it gives them may be what's called asymptomatic, which means that they have a patient that they're creating a disease treatment for or a wellness plan for, and they don't have evidence of there being issues. A lot of times asymptomatic problems can lead to heart attack. Okay, the fact that it's one of cardiac issues a lot of times aren't evident. That's why a lot of people suffer and die from those things. They didn't have early detection enough on what was happening because the doctor never saw a reason to actually do testing or anything else to figure out whether or not there was a problem. With our test, they get all of the data they need to discover whether or not these particular disease states are going to be a problem for the patient. So to break that down further, go into the training. All right, there's an opportunity for you to really listen to some very intelligent dialogue with Michael White. Okay, Michael White is one of the people working with us here. There's other people that work at our company that really kind of tie in why buying from us makes the most sense for a physician. Okay, it's not just about the program we have or the testing that we do. It's also about the people that work here. Michael White, Trip Jones, Chris Rondon, Gail Davis, Bud Callahan. Okay, these people are all experts. And I know how important that is just because of some of my history in the field. So there's professional billing experts that also work at this company. We're not going to get into all of that stuff, but these people I have a lot of respect for, and they do a very good job with their programs, and they're the ones that are bringing this to us here. So we're going to go through mostly today on what it is that you have access to. And we're going to start off right here in our back office, okay? So in the training center, you've got an opportunity to actually come in and train on AWS, but right at the top, once you're finished training, you'll see it says AWS landing page link for lead sign up. This is a link. This is your link. And if you look, it says advancedwellness.pro, and then there's an extension. That's your link. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Right at the top of your decks is the AWS deck. Okay, you can download that in PDF. That's an easy way to share it over email, or you can actually download it in PowerPoint. And you'd want to do that if you're going to take a tablet with you and actually go through the AWS system with a potential physician right there on a tablet. And it doesn't look too bad on a phone too. Okay, PowerPoint works very well on most smartphones. So that's right here and available to you immediately. And then your link actually goes directly to this page, okay? Now, it will always work. We may make changes to this page as we advance further and maybe have other opportunities, but you can actually grab that link, put it in an email, and it will bring them to this landing page. On this landing page is great information about the medical device that we're offering the practice. There's videos here that you've actually watched yourself in training, but these are more now to explain to the doctor what it is that we have and why the things that we're doing here are different and better, which we are going to cover as we continue to talk. But you have access directly to this landing page, and all you've got to do to unlock it in your back office is finish your training and finish your test. As soon as you finish the Advanced Wellness Solutions training and you test, this will automatically show up in your back office right here, and you can start sharing it. So talking about training, it's right here at the top, guys. I just want to make sure I point it out right under our medical Advanced Wellness Solutions. Starts here, and we have a lot of really great videos. As a matter of fact, this is going to be really fun for most of you. I had a chance to speak with Bud Callahan, and he is the gentleman that actually finances these deals with the doctors and gets the device into the practice and gets all the paperwork done for that. And he and I did a training today that will actually be in the back office right here with the rest of your training. It's a great opportunity. He called me up, let me know that he had even a PowerPoint that I could review. And I just jumped at the opportunity knowing that you reps are going to want to understand how things are financed as well. The doctor's going to want to know. Now, I'm not, again, going to go into a lot of those things right now because that will be in the back office. I think it was about 35, 40 minutes. I learned a tremendous amount about it. And understanding how the actual device gets financed can be very important. Not that you're going to be managing that process, but simply because it's important for you to understand all the variables that you can and train on everything that you can. So that's just right up here at the top, Advanced Wellness Solutions, right in the back office. Okay, the Pro Shop. Now this is, let me refresh this page because we've been working on this pretty hard today. I back and forth with Vistaprint. They've been really good to us. And you guys haven't seen this much material before. Okay, if you have been back in our pro shop before, you know there's opportunities for inexpensive printing. If you come here to the Consulting Director AWS card, I just want to show you guys something. You can click on that, and right here, click on Start Designing. Give it just a second. There we go. And my rep's name, Johnny Apple. See how that pops in right here. My email, my telephone number, email address, and you notice it populates this entire card. So what I do after that, I just go next for review, and we have them for very inexpensive. You can get a full color two-sided card. Okay, so this is on the front, and we've got nice logoing right there on the back. Okay, and you can get this, you can get 100 of these for $13, and you can get better pricing if you order in bulk. We make absolutely no money off of our Vista Print store. We had an opportunity to do that because most companies will haven't a chance to do that, and they mark it up a little bit. We did no markups. Okay, you guys are getting the exact cost that we're getting for having the Pro Store. Okay, so that's why the pricing's so good. Now, if you look over here, you'll see Advanced Wellness Solutions is the fourth one down. If you click on that, it comes right down to some of the most important media that you could have with you if you were working to actually make sales for us. Now, you're always welcome to just simply download a lot of this and actually send it in an email, PDF, that's fine. You can print it out on your own printer. If you look in the actual resources inside of GoToMeeting right now, several of these are actually already linked in GoToMeeting. I would highly suggest that before the end of this call, you download everything that's there so that you have it on your computer. But it's all right here also in our Pro Shop. So if you want to order flyers, it's not too expensive. Let's go ahead and just do one so I can show you a little bit on what's happening here. So this is our main AWS Advanced Wellness Solutions flyer. And this is the one that you want to hand out is kind of the intro to what we're doing. I go to Start Designing. This comes up. Takes just a bit. Come in here, put my rep name. Come down here for phone number. And if you look down here, I'll zoom in on this just a little bit. It's actually putting my rep name and my phone number right there on the flyer. Okay, so this allows you to come in and create a bit of customization even on the flyers so that your name and your phone number is right here. Now, there is room for an email if you want to put your email at the end of your name. We just didn't put email on that because those can look a little bulky on flyers sometimes. So if you think it's important, you can always go dash and put your email. Okay, so that just kind of gives you guys a little bit of an idea of what you have available to you in the Pro Shop. The coolest thing about it, like I said, is that any of you that may have been back here before today didn't see all of this. And everything that you need, which we're going to be covering that information in just a minute here, but everything that you need to actually print out to put a packet together for your physician is here. The most important one that's here, okay, I'd say there's two that are probably the top, is the AWS Practice Questionnaire, okay? You can also, this one is definitely attached currently to the to GoToWebinar, so you can download this right now. But this one is the actual questionnaire that they need to turn into us in order to qualify whether they are a practice that we can actually work with. Okay, so there's some importance to that. Again, this isn't a full depth training. I'm going to be covering all of this on the very next weekly call for AWS. Okay, so if any of you haven't signed up for the weekly training calls, make sure you do. We're going to cover the PQ top down and explain everything about it, but in the simplest fashion. A doctor has to be within certain taxonomies that we're able to work with. That's listed information as well in our training. And they have to have a certain payer mix, and that has to do with their insurance and how they're paid. And they also need to have a particular patient count. So there's a few variables that we need to understand about the practice, and it's all on this one-page practice questionnaire. So the very first thing that you must do once there's interest from the physician is turn this practice questionnaire in. Okay, there's an actual fax number that's right there, and you literally just fax it. You can also email it directly to us as well at advancedwellness@betoparedes.com. Okay, so if you want to just get it and then email it to us, that's great. There is no signature here for the physician. Okay, the doctor will be signing a number of things. That's what ends up getting you paid, but those signatures are more dealt with at the financing level and kind of handed off a little bit. This is a very important piece of media for you. Okay, you need to get them to let you fill this out. It doesn't always have to be the physician that gives you the information. Okay, and don't make it all about the practice questionnaire either, guys, because if you pull out an actual application, you show it to them, say, I got to get this filled out. Well, they may feel like that's an obligation and possibly may feel like they did something for you, right? When you actually got it done. And you'll notice in sales, as you require more and more of people, they start to get a little impatient. So I would actually say, hey, is there somebody else here, like the practice manager or the office manager? Is there someone else I can get this information from? And you may not even call it a practice questionnaire. You say, listen, I've just got to have some information to be able to qualify your practice. Is there someone here I can just get the information from? Because if you'll notice, it says things like address. And you can't really see it. We'll get into that in a minute when I get to it. I'm jumping ahead. I'm super excited about you guys getting in a practice questionnaire. So we're really just talking about Vistaprint. So we'll get more into that in just a minute. But that is all available on Vistaprint. Okay, and that link, if you look in your back office, is right at the top, right here where it says order print materials. So please feel free to grab as much of that as you'd like. It's inexpensive. Or you're obviously, again, welcome to print these things out yourself, send them PDF or print them yourself, however you'd like to do that. Okay, so this is just the PowerPoint. Okay, this is a nice thing to send to a potential buyer. It's fairly thorough. We will, on a consistent basis, update these. So if you download this to your computer, which you should, we will be updating them often enough, so please do come back and check and download it fresh once in a while, because we're constantly game planning over here how to really serve you guys the best and really how to help you get out there and make some sales. Okay, so this is important to have on your computer, and it is right there in the dashboard, right? So it's you find it right here, right at the top left. Alrighty, so so this is the main flyer that we hand out. It's nice and clean. Okay, when you're speaking with physicians that may potentially be interested in one of our devices, you're looking at a couple of different things. Okay, first of all, if the physician is part of a small group or is a personal owner of his practice or her practice, that person's going to be interested in certain things that someone that that works at an actual networked location that may have been purchased by a hospital isn't going to look at. Okay, if you're speaking with someone who's potentially got big hospital contacts above them because they own their practice, realize you're going to have to go up the food chain a little bit and actually get into the corporate office to have the discussions about our device. Don't shy away from those opportunities. Don't ever waste any time, honestly. If you're already at a practice and you thought it was a private practice, do the pitch. There are big hospital sales that happen. They're very handsome. They take longer. Okay, we get very excited about those here, but they do take a little bit more time. So this is really a good introduction on this flyer for a practice where the owner actually is at the practice and receives the revenue from the reimbursements. So you're speaking with a physician that's actually getting paid because he owns the practice or she owns the practice. So this flyer does two things. It introduces the device, and then it introduces and the science, and it introduces the revenue opportunity, and it's just a 2-page flyer. This first one talks about revenue on the front, okay, and you can actually start on either side. The second side breaks right into the science in a very, very clean fashion, right? Like I was telling you guys before, you may not understand the science as well as Michael White, and you should continue to study and listen to our training until you do. But this is a great one-pager to hand the doctor, have one in your own hand, because this really kind of breaks it into what's most important, right? This is to help the physician in early detection of all of these disease states. Okay, how is it done? It's done through these 8 essential risk factors. The physician's going to be somewhat familiar with some because there's many tests out there that give him this information, but not all consolidated in one report, and especially not one that he's operating in his practice that also has a revenue model. Okay, the doctor actually takes the professional component in the testing. An average doctor that qualifies in our program is going to be doing anywhere between 8 to 10 tests a day. So they're making decent money. And it's difficult to say exactly how much, but a lot of physicians can see 10,000 plus 15 and even $20,000 more a month. So if you have friends that are doctors that own their own practices, you know that amount of money is a fresh breath of air, because it's really difficult in today's world for physicians to not end up being purchased by a network. And there's a lot of reasons to that. We could probably have a whole webinar on that, and I wouldn't be the speaker. It's challenging, though, for physicians right now to stay private. We really help them get there. Okay, so we've got really good science. It's great medicine. It's preventative, which means the physician has an opportunity to discover asymptomatic problems with his current patient population, and it allows him to simply practice better medicine. These are all very, very good things, and they're all laid out in this one actual flyer. So if you're going to buy something, again, like I said, from Vistaprint, I would get this flyer and I would get the practice questionnaire. Okay, so this is a fun one, okay? We are focused on selling devices to practices, all right? The actual cost for the practice is based over a 5-year lease most of the time. That's all decided by the finance department. A doctor is going to pay anywhere from $800 to potentially $1,600 a month for the lease to have the actual device and the program in their practice. We place the med tech. Okay, we actually work directly with them and place the med tech in their practice and actually operate the program with them. That's why we get the technical component of the actual test, is because we place the med tech there. But in certain cities, we are opening centers. And if you're here, you have to live in the cities that we're working in order to participate in this. Okay, El Paso, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada are special center areas for us, because we're actually opening our own centers to let physicians send their patients to our center to get tested. So I'm not going to cover that in depth, but if you are in those areas, I am very interested in speaking with you about some of our plans. Okay, so we do have the literature back there if you're in those areas for that as well, but we just need to speak ahead of time about the plan. So this is the symptom checklist. My team's actually redesigning this right now, and it's not in Vistaprint because we just are needing to redesign it, but I wanted to bring it up. This is the checklist of potential symptoms that may occur within a patient that allows a physician to potentially name medical necessity for the test. So the doctor does have to have a reason to actually have the test ran. One of the most amazing things about our device being preventative is almost any signs and symptoms of potential distress turns into a good medical reason for them to come in and get a test. So unlike many other opportunities for testing, maybe even in-house that the physician's doing, a very large part of their population will qualify. And we discover those things when we go through the practice questionnaire. That's an important moment when you actually turn that questionnaire in, because we're doing a review to make sure that we've got absolute clarity that that doctor is going to make money, and so will we. That's something that you just need to think about. But this symptom checklist is fairly vast. Look at all of the different potential qualifiers that may lead to an actual ANS test. Okay, so it's quite a number of them, because the analytics that come back for the physician gives them a very clear view into things that are sometimes difficult to measure, and in a complete way. Okay, there's actually 4 technologies that are used in this program and in the actual device that gives certain readouts for the physician that he may go out and get in other places, but he's getting it all together in our readout, which is just so much better for the physician and being able to analyze the data. Well, these are the symptoms as he's speaking with his patients that may very well immediately lead to medical necessity. because the doctor, as everyone here knows, especially if you're in medicine, is the only one that can make that decision. Okay, so that's our symptom checklist. It's a good thing to share with the physician. Okay, because they're going to want to understand from their own perspective as they're dealing with their patients what they need to be looking for, what they should be looking for in both current population of patients and new patients that would qualify them to potentially get this test ran. Okay, well, they're all here. There's much further depth of conversation that will come once they start, because once they start working with this, now they're with the experts. They're with Michael White. Okay, they're with Trip Jones. They're with Chris Rondon that know how to actually work with them to understand the best way of looking at the values that are needed to be medical necessity driven. But what we know is that a good portion of their population of patients are going to qualify. Okay, this here is a doctor's report. Okay, now currently this is available in our back office. It's also attached to the GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, but it's available in Vistaprint. But they did a price boo-boo. It's got it in there for like $40, and they accidentally put a zero in there. It's actually supposed to only be $4 and X. So this is an actual full physician's report that gives them the data on the patient itself. And this was garnered from a real report. We took all the names and everything off, obviously. But this is the information that they're able to receive. So let me tell you what's very powerful for a physician, because they understand medicine. When you come in and you hand them this flyer, they're going to understand the money and they're going to understand the basis here of the science. Well, when you then hand them a physician's report, they can relate that information to what they may be reviewing here in the data. Okay, now it's a very important moment in time coming up where me and Michael White are going to kind of go through this whole thing. It's going to be like a 4-hour deal that we're going to put in the back office for you. Just for those of you that are nerds, okay, like me, I'm a nerd. I want to learn everything on here, okay? But the physician's going to understand what he or she is looking at, okay? This is evident to them, especially if you hand them the other flyer first, and then they're able to look at the symptom checklist, and then they kind of move to what the report would potentially look like. And I suggest that you do get a number of these, because this is a powerful piece of media for the physician. This is exactly what it is that the readout is. This is the results of the test. Okay. All right. This is where I got to have the most fun. So I didn't want to mix information too much and kind of get you guys thinking correctly about the device and the viability, and also make sure you understand where to go in our system to get things done. Okay. What I want to talk about right now is something that nobody in the industry has, even in any of the competitors that are in the market, besides Advanced Wellness Solutions. This is for sure not one of those things where I'm saying we're the best because we work the hardest. This is literally something that nobody else has access to anywhere in the industry. We have a program called PEACE, and that is the Patient Encounter Execution Software. PEACE actually takes a report that was done on our device, and it creates the encounter form template for the physician. Now, I want to make sure that what I just said really sinks in for you, because a physician has to fill out an encounter form for anything that they're going to send in to an insurance company to be paid on. Okay, so when there's a test ran, that physician is required to review the test and then create an encounter form and submit that to insurance. Okay, the variables of that we're not going to get crazy on right now. What we do is we have a software platform. If they do 20 tests in a day, they can upload all of those tests to PEACE, and our platform will pre-populate the actual information on the encounter form based off of all of the actual metrics, the LCDs themselves, in different states, in different cities, in different boroughs. Chris, that works with us here, he spends the majority of his time just writing these algorithms or the rules for these algorithms so that the physician doesn't have to sit there and scratch his chin about what he should check off in an encounter form. This encounter form that you're looking at right here, it's very, very important for me to give this to you this way, is the encounter form to the same doctor's report that you have here too. So when the actual physician's looking at this report, this encounter form is the results of this report. Okay, important to understand that. Now, why is that such a big deal? Okay, first of all, physicians have a struggle a lot of times with ANS billing. Okay, some physicians out there are doing it. Some have massively failed, and some billing providers that work with them have failed to do the right things in order to have the encounter forms actually adjudicate through the insurance plans. And it's not super difficult, it's just not real common. Okay, that's good for you. There's a very low percentage of penetration in the market right now of people that have this device. But because of that, it's not usual for them to understand how to bill for it, or a lot of times they don't know billing providers that understand it either. In our system, they get peace, okay, because they don't have to guess on anything. Our algorithms will create this encounter form. Nobody in the industry selling anything competitive to us has this program anywhere. We're the only ones. Not only is that important, but think about this. An encounter form filled out after the analysis of the report takes anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. If you understand how medicine works, the doctor has to fill it out. Okay, he can't hire an underling to do his job here. This is a requirement by law for him to be the one involved at this level. So for us, we're giving the opportunity to the physician to simply review to see if everything's accurate, okay? And it already is for the state, the city, the borough that they're actually practicing in, because we made sure it was. Our software actually makes that happen. So instead of 10 to 12 minutes, the physician's looking at more like half a minute to 2 minutes, depending on the analysis. And he can quickly, or she can quickly, decide things are accurate, change one or two things, and submit it, sign it, it's ready to go to the billing. Doctors have walked away from opportunities in ANS, and you'll hear certain stories from people, because there are those that have purchased it and have gotten into this program through other companies and ours. And one of the biggest headaches they have is just takes so long to get through all the encounters, because even if I've got a bill 30 or bill 50 coming from a test, I got to sit through that for the rest of my evening. I can't even spend time with my family because I got to go and take these 10 to 15 tests and actually build the encounter forms. In our program, there's no problems. It's automated. The doctor does have to review, but it's almost instant to a degree outside of his required review. You know, he needs to look at it, make sure it's accurate. Nobody has that. Doctors love this program. There's been some really big wins in our company because of this program. Okay, Michael White has actually gone into practices, and we're getting actual testimonials from these practices that had an ANS device and they had it sitting on their shelf because they couldn't figure out how to bill it. He turned around, put his software on it, put Peace to work for it, and now they're out making 20, 25 grand a month. Okay, he's got many stories like that. So that's the other thing I want to point out right here before we move on. We have the most intelligent people in this industry working at this company. Okay, this is where mastery in ANS testing is actually done. Okay, Michael White is one of the founding distributors in this industry. Okay, he's considered an authority, and he absolutely understands the program. And Trip Jones and Chris have been in professional billing for many years. I think Trip's close to 30. Okay, and they've been billing successfully for doctors in other medical practices for a very long time. So we've got the actual academy of intelligence here in this industry right here in this office. You have the opportunity to save the doctor a tremendous amount of time because our guys are accurate. You have the opportunity to guarantee to some degree that they're going to have good billing. Okay, now we can't walk into a physician's practice and talk about how successful we've been, because we can't start sharing information that really is proprietary in some ways. But I can tell you, in an overall bigger schema, I have talked to the partners here, and we've seen like 98% adjudication on some of the stuff that we've actually submitted. That's almost unheard of. Okay, there's always a couple of things that make problem even for the best when they're submitting their billing. We are very successful at submitting the billing and getting the doctor paid. Now, that's either them using their own billing company, and of course, they can't really make a mistake if you're looking at this, or they can actually work directly with us because we understand this really well. But all these little X's that you see, they showed up because of the actual results of the test that was ran for this particular patient. Okay, so here's the practice questionnaire. I'm going to spend 20 minutes here, maybe 15 minutes here, talking about this because this is a very important piece. So you want to make sure that you're doing a couple of things when you're getting out there. First of all, hopefully you guys are excited, okay? Because I am stoked. I have been working super hard with these guys to get to this point. This is going to be a very well-supported sales opportunity at the Beto Paredes family of companies, okay? We want to hear from you, okay? Let's get out in the field and get hustling. Let's get out and talk to some doctors. We're ready to help you out. But how you get this done is you first think a little bit intelligently about who you're approaching, okay? Let me tell you who the top guys are here. Internal medicine and neurology, family practice, general practice doctors, okay? There's other taxonomies that work great. Cardiologists can even take a look at this, okay? Their programs are a little bit different. They operate a little bit differently. Your internal medicine guys are going to see immediate value, okay? They're probably the most hardcore doctors you could ever speak with, but they're going to see immediate value. Okay, family practice, general practice, they're going to see a lot of opportunity in their actual patient population for this. Okay, neurology, absolutely. I mean, this is right up their alley. This is exactly something that they could use in their practice. Okay, so now there's many other opportunities for practices that have other taxonomies. Okay, so if you come down here, if this thing doesn't want to jump around on me, there's a few of them, right? For example, a pain management doctor that's in an integrated practice, which means there's someone with an NPI that's family general practice there, also works as well. That's listed because there's a lot of pain management centers out there. That's a common one for you guys to run into. But basically, in the practice questionnaire, you need to be extremely accurate. Okay, you need to make sure that you are typing it in exactly in the name of the practice. For discovery calls, you guys are going to want to do the exact same thing. We're going to kind of swing back into discovery calls in just a minute here too. But you're going to want to make sure it's just accurate. You come in and you fill out the taxonomies of the practice. Now, if they're not listed here, then they're not going to qualify right now. There may be other things that qualify shortly, but you want to be sticking to the actual practices that are within these taxonomies, because these are the ones that we're currently accepting here at Advanced Wellness Solutions. Okay, you want to get the NPI information from the organization and the primary practitioner and any other qualifying practitioners in the practice. Okay, so there's a few things that you're going to want to gather up, and like I said before, there's usually someone else in the practice that knows this information. Okay, to be honest, you get into this type of information gathering, the doctor normally never does this part, right? But he will give you to the person that actually can help you out quickly. So you want to get the information listed on the PQ, and you need to be thorough, okay? So you can't submit a PQ that's halfway done. You have to finish the entire thing, okay? Everything has to be checked off. Okay, is the practice adult only? That's an important question. Make sure that you ask that question, because our ANS testing device is meant for adult medicine, and it's not meant to for children for the most part. Okay, so we just want to know if they are an adult practice only. Again, if they see children, obviously like a family practice, there's still going to be a lot of opportunity there. So you just want to get all this stuff filled out, and you get down to billing and insurance. This is where we were talking a little bit about making sure that you have the right payer mix from the physician's practice. So you're just kind of getting an idea of the percentage differences. Okay, and if you're speaking with someone and they have those percentage differences somehow within their EMR, That's one thing, but just get the best idea from the person you're talking to that you can, right? So percentage of private pay, of Medicare, Medicaid, and of course other payment plans that we have in here. Also, you want to come in and get the top 5 commercial insurance people they're working with. They're working with too many, so you don't want to ask them about every commercial insurance payer they have. You just want the top 5. Okay, those top 5 are going to give you 90% or more of the information that you need from that practice and how their payer mix is set up. Okay, so just be accurate. That's going to be very important, because what happens is when you submit this over, either having them or you fax it to the number or send it by email to advancedwellness@betoparedes.com. Once we have it, we're going to give you an immediate response to let you know that doctor is either qualified or they're not qualified. Now, you're going to become very good at knowing what doctors qualify. Okay, it's not going to be difficult. You're going to see practice questionnaires coming in. You're going to see certain payer mixes. You're going to kind of see a trend, and you're going to almost know that certain practices are going to qualify. So you just through your own learning will actually get better at that qualification yourself. But we still have to qualify them here officially at corporate. Okay, so even if you're clear on it, you still always have to submit this to us. It has to happen every time. Okay, so discovery calls. Most of you are very familiar with discovery calls. I don't want to get into that training because that training is right here, but I do like pointing this training out. Right here in the top right corner of the back panel is the training for discovery call entry. So what do you have access here to here? You can schedule discovery events for webinar opportunities with physicians, practice managers, and office managers. We will speak with them right here, okay? And I would suggest, if you're new to the medical industry, that you do schedule discovery calls as a primary thing, okay? Use our ability here to speak with physicians. I also have opportunities a lot of times, if you've got a pretty big practice, to bring other professionals in-house on those calls. In fact, you're kind of a privileged group because this is our kickoff. Okay, Michael White's going to be in a lot of our calls. Okay, we're going to have other people in the company on here that really know their stuff. So do take the time to schedule discoveries. Really what it comes down to is once the practice questionnaire is in and qualified, you are able to move the sale forward yourself, get a commitment that they're willing and interested to look at the actual contract, and just hit advancedwellness@betoparedes.com to let us know that they're interested in receiving a contract. But I suggest for at least the beginning here, as you get out there and get going with this, that you let us speak with your doctors too, okay? You'll learn a tremendous amount on those discovery calls. We always do our best to try to close up the opportunity while we're on the call, okay? So I'll explain that a little bit better so you guys really get it. Especially for Advanced Wellness Solutions, a discovery call is a closing call, okay? That's a closing desk. Okay, you want to call it a discovery call. You don't want to say schedule with Beto at the closing desk. that's not the best way to put it. You want to let them know that there's a discovery opportunity with the executives at the company to review the things that are important and to ask any of the questions that they may have, and to look at some more literature and maybe possibly at some of the reports on an actual webcast. Okay, it's an opportunity for them. Well, it's a huge opportunity for you, okay? So right here, watch this video. It'll teach you exactly what you need to do if you haven't been scheduling discoveries, on exactly how to schedule discovery calls. And then you just select Advanced Wellness Solutions as your product. Just like you'll see on the video, it pops open my calendar, and you can pick a time to actually schedule that call. And as always, when it sends out the invite, it sends out go-to-meeting information every time and even on the spot. So if you're in speaking with the physician at the practice, you can actually log into your back office, schedule that discovery right there while you're speaking with them, and verify that the actual conference information is in their email, because it sends it automatically, okay? So I suggest you do it. I'm happy to work with you guys. I'm excited about it. Okay, if you're going to get in the field and you're going to hustle this out, which I'm super excited to help you with, schedule a 15-minute game plan call with me if you think it will help, okay? Right here in the back office, it's right here. Set a 15-minute rep Q&A call that actually is scheduled directly with me, okay? I'm happy to talk to you about it. If it's a training thing, please hit Matt at BetoParedes.com. Okay, M-A-T-T at BetoParedes.com. Matt can kind of help you with some of those things. But if you're ready to hustle, if you're going to hustle the muscle, let's roll. I will work with you. I will talk with you. I will give you my best advice. And I'll even put together a little game plan with you and kind of get your next 6 weeks in place, right? So you can get out there and get it done. I've got reps doing so well right now. Okay, we've done a lot right here locally in Vegas. We've got reps starting up in many different places. And these are reps that came in and got excited while we were just barely putting in our initial training, because today's the kickoff. Okay, I've already got PQs coming in here from reps already, and today's the kickoff. It doesn't take that much effort to get out there and move this through the cycle, and you also get paid in a very good fashion, okay? The physician's practice takes a couple of weeks or longer to get set up with their device. They've got to get through all of the financing. We've got to get the med tech in there. And then once they're in, we invoice that practice every 6 weeks. The first week they test, we bill on the 6th week. The second week that they test, we bill on the 7th week. The third is on the 8th. The fourth is on the 9th. So once 6 weeks have gone by since they started, they start getting billed every week on that cycle, which means that that falls in the payment cycle for you guys, and you're getting paid consistently. This is great residual income. This is a place where you guys can do very well, making a great income on just a few doctors, okay? 5 or 6 doctors in before the end of first quarter, okay? If I could have you guys raise your hand and say, I will get you 5 to 6 doctors before the end of first quarter. Well, I'm just playing around, but 5 to 6 doctors would be anywhere potentially of 4,500 to even 10 grand or more to your pocket. Okay, how does that look for a good summer? Okay, this is a great program, and what's great about it is the physicians will get more tests in as they move through time, because it will start becoming much more of the practice that they have, the wellness programs that they have. So the volume goes the opposite direction. It continues to get larger, and especially as they become more popular as a practice. Why? Because they have this test at their practice. They'll also start bringing in a lot more patient volume, and this is something that you can count on for weeks and months and years ahead. Okay, that's the thing we promise you here at Beto Paredes Family Companies is residual income. Okay, all the things that we offer have solid residual income. That's why you're here, to win good sales up front. Okay, so let's talk about what's so good about it. Okay, right now you're selling a device into a practice, which again, there might be a cash buyer. You might have somebody put in 50 grand. Great, that's what the actual device costs overall. Sometimes there's a variance to that, depending if they're buying in volume, things like that. Well, they're paying actually monthly, right, on an actual 5-year plan. So it's like 800, 900 bucks for a doctor with great credit, okay? They're making, on average, if they're qualified, which is we're making sure they are, 10,000 or more a month. Pretty handsome. You are getting $2,500 as soon as they sign the lease and transfer the first payment to us. Okay, so you're getting paid up front $2,500 for closing this sale. So that's pretty nice out front. Okay, and on top of that, for any of you hustlers out here, okay, that are going to work with me over the holidays, because I am definitely taking Thanksgiving and Christmas off and New Year's with my family, but I will be here every other minute through the end of the year. Any of you that actually get a sale in before the end of the year, there's a $500 bonus on top of the $2,500. Okay, so that's a great measure. Now, all the commission information is where you'd always see it. It's in our back office right there at the base of the actual at the base of the homepage, and it's also included in your policy documentation, so you can go through and really kind of read it. But this offer for an additional $500 will put $3,000 in your pocket. Okay, if you guys are potentially looking to get some stuff under your Christmas tree, if that's what you're into, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a great way to put that in there. Okay. So that bonus is running until the end of the year. And then we have great testing dollars that come out. Depending on the state, the city, and the things that we're in, you're receiving anywhere between $6 to $8 a test. And again, it depends on what state it is. We have a matrix that we're going to be publishing here in just a couple of days to show you exactly what that is in each state. But that's pretty handsome. You've got an opportunity every month to make quite a bit more money, and a nice big upfront $2,500 plus the $500 bonus that we're giving you. So we're excited to get you guys going. Set a 15-minute call with me if you need any help. Let's get this hustled out. This is probably one of my favorite opportunities that I've been able to present to you. Thank you for spending time with us here. And hey, let's have an incredibly great end of the year, guys. Let's make some money together at the end of the year. I could tell you probably my favorite story I ever had was I closed a deal. Okay, I closed a deal on New Year's Eve, and it was one of the biggest deals I ever had in my life. And I was super excited about it. And the only reason it happened is because I took the time in November and December to not just sit around and get fat on turkey. Okay, I actually worked through that actual period, and I'm asking you guys to hustle with me, and let's make this work. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to speaking with you sometime in the near future.